We've always heard stories from our grandparents or our great-grandparents about when the lights first came on and how it changed the quality of life for farmers and rural people all over this country. The special thing about going to Bolivia is our linemen did just that. They actually turned the lights on for the first time for these very remote rural villages.
12 of us went to Bolivia from Illinois, and personality-wise, if you take 12 people, there's usually at least one or two in the crowd that you're just not going to get along with. Well, that did not happen on this trip. There was not one argument the whole time we was there. We looked at it, we talked about it, we discussed it, and we went to work and got the job done. Well, when we first got there out on the job site, they took us out to see the area that we was going to be working on. When I signed up, I really didn't realize it was going to be as mountainous as it was. I didn't realize when they cut right away, they cut it with a machete, and then everything that's been cut is now a spear. So not only do you not have to worry about falling off a mountain, you got to worry about falling down and getting speared by a tree or a stick or something that they've cut with these machetes. The most memorable thing will be the 96-year-old gentleman that come out of what I would call the bush. Just showed up on the work site one day while he was pulling wire, and luckily the interpreter was there at that time. He wanted to make sure that we did not forget that he had a house down below where we was working, and he wanted to have lights at his house. He'd lived 96 years old without lights, which myself cannot even imagine at this day and time. He explained that his family had left and moved to the city and doesn't come back and check on him. Imagine being 96 years old and never having that switch to turn your power on. This man, for the rest of his life, however much longer he's got, is at least going to have power. The one thing I'll never forget is probably the children. The little children that would come out from the schools and stuff while we were there. Everywhere I went, where there was children or some of the elder, I'd give them some of these little protein bars, and they were just so elated to get these. I mean, it was like having candy. We did find out at the orphanage, they used to have a generator, and I don't know how long the generator had been broke, so they're running an orphanage with no lights and no running hot water. I can't imagine one of our nursing homes or orphanages not having lights or hot water, so it's absolutely amazing the help that those people are going to have now.
It was a special experience on this international project because we were working with another electric cooperative just based in Bolivia. So it was fun to watch those guys work together. Oftentimes they couldn't communicate verbally, but through gestures and through their tools and techniques. And it was fascinating to watch them slowly but surely bond and grow friendships to where on that final day when we electrified that school and had our celebration, these guys were hugging and embracing, and you could see a tear or two because they truly bonded.
There were 14 linemen from Cray, 12 of ours. They worked together. I called them a band of brothers. And then, of course, they also bonded with the people that they brought the power to, whether it's the very young or the very old or those in between. So those are the stars, our linemen, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart.
I learned, for one thing, I'm not as tough as I think I am. When I sat at the inauguration, and we had all the little children reading stories about now being able to do their studies at night instead of by candlelight or whatever means they had, and watching some people from the orphanage, that I got pretty teary-eyed myself sitting there watching that.
It was a fascinating experience where our linemen, our cooperatives could participate in a way that's so special and reminiscent of what happened in this state over 80 years ago.
You could just tell when people would come up to you that they were so excited that they were now going to have power. And our people in the States, you know, they take for granted every day that they can flip a switch and that power's on.
Part of a cooperative is a community, and in this case, our community wasn't just our local members, it was an international community, and we were glad to be able to help in that regard. So on behalf of Terry and myself and all our employees, I want to thank the board for the opportunity they gave Terry. And it was a life-changing event for Terry. He will never be the same based on the good he was able to do and what he was able to see while he was in Bolivia.
You're thinking you're doing something for them, you are doing a big service for them. But when you come back, you're not going to believe what it does to you, because it'll totally change your life when you understand that people that have nothing are now going to have lights and are so appreciative of the things that you do.